Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Kankakee Community College IGEN Virtual Job Fair event. Today, we will be hearing from 6 presenters. Each presenter will speak for approximately 5 to 10 minutes to give you some information about their company, and will highlight the services they provide or the job openings they currently have. After presentations have concluded, we will have a brief Q&A session with the job seekers that are on the call. Today's session is being recorded and will be made available on the Illinois workNet YouTube channel for you to refer to later. Now, I am pleased to introduce Dana Nguyen with the Illinois Green Economy Network. Dana?
Hi, thank you, Daniel. I just wanted to introduce our project. It's titled Expanding the Solar Workforce Through the Illinois Community College System. We have 5 community college regions participating in this project. And obviously this event today is targeted to connect job seekers and students that are directly in these programs, although it's open to the general public, to some of our businesses that are engaged with our project with current openings. And yeah, we're hoping to have some success in getting people employed in the industry. And these events are kind of nice because they're pretty casual, but it's still a good opportunity to meet with and talk with your potential future employer. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Ellen Barless with the Midwest Renewable Energy Association, and one of our project's advisory partners, to kick off the business and job side. Ellen, if you'd like to take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate your introduction. As Dana said, I'm Ellen Barless. I'm the Solar Workforce Manager for the Midwest Renewable Energy Association, and I'm really happy to be here to talk to all of you about our training and opportunities that we have for people wanting to work in the solar industry. Can I have the next slide, please? So just to give you a little bit of history about the MREA, we are a nonprofit educational organization. So our primary focus is to offer training to people who are either wanting to enter the solar industry or who want to continue a career in solar. We're headquartered in Custer, Wisconsin. If you're looking at this slide, that picture down in the left corner is our campus in Custer. We also have a location in Milwaukee, and we also offer training all over the Midwest. So we have somewhat of a traveling roadshow where we can provide in-person training all over the Midwestern states. And the MREA's mission is to promote renewable energy efficiency, and sustainable living through education and demonstration. And so we fulfill that mission by offering all kinds of training opportunities to people in all segments of the renewable energy industry. Next slide, please. Our training is really broken up into 3 formats. We provide in-person training both at our campus in Custer and, as I said, at locations all over the Midwest. We offer independent study, which means that if you or your company is interested in drilling down on a particular concept or something that is outside of our standard training format, we can provide that based on your needs. So we do lots of contract training that focuses on specific topics or a group of topics. And we also really kind of as an outgrowth of COVID have completely migrated all of our training that it was possible to do online. So we have instructor-led training where we provide live Zoom sessions, pre-recorded instruction. All of our online training comes along with office hours, with a live instructor. So that platform has really developed over the last year and a half. And we're really proud of that. It provides people an opportunity to take training that maybe they couldn't have taken because they weren't able to come in person. And if you look at the left side of this slide, this is just a snapshot of our training page, which is at our website. And you can go on there and look at all of the available training that we have. Next slide, please. We offer around 20 courses on mostly solar PV, but we also do offer some courses in wind and general renewable energy. The main thing about the MREA is that we are recognized by the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners, or NABSEP, as a certified training provider, and we're also a certified exam provider. So the benchmark courses for NABSEP are their PV Associate program, and we provide all of the courses that are necessary to sit for that credential. And those can be taken online. We also provide a solar training academy where we can do those in person. And then we also provide course hours and continuing education for other NABSEP certifications. And if anybody's interested in learning about NABSEP or what it means, or, you can go to the NABSEP website, which is just nabsep.org. From my point of view, NABSEP is kind of the good housekeeping seal of approval for people who are entering the solar industry. If you take the PV Associate program, it gives you a good background in basic PV. And, I think that one of the most important things that you can do on your journey into the solar industry is to take some training. And this is an opportunity to do that from the entry level. Next slide, please. So this is basically just the NABSEP pathway and our credentialing pathway. So these are the courses that the MREA offers: basic photovoltaic, site assessment, and system design. And once those 3 courses are taken, you are eligible to sit for the PV Associate exam. And people ask me every day, why should I become a NABSEP associate? And these are the answers that I've developed. As the solar market grows, and oh boy, is it growing, employers are looking for people who have experience or some sort of credential, that gives them a leg up on maybe somebody who's coming in just as an entry level. And once you've passed the NABSEP associate exam, you are qualified to design, sell, install, or maintain solar systems under supervision. So, while this isn't the most advanced credential or certification, it definitely gives you a seal of approval that you have done the basics. Next slide, please. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about this morning is our website that the MREA developed. It's called solarenergy.jobs. And that website was developed in order to kind of warehouse information about training and career opportunities for people who are at any level of employment in the solar industry, or people who are wanting to join the solar industry. So solarenergy.jobs has links back to all of our training. We also provide links to all of the colleges who have joined our Solar Core network. Each one of those colleges is represented and links back to their particular programs. Kankakee Community College is a member of our Solar Core program, so you'll find that all of the training that's available at that college on our website. And then the most important part of this website is our job board. We just got this up off the ground, and we're getting more and more employers every day who are listing jobs on the job board. And I just brought one of them with me today because this opportunity happens to be right in Northern Illinois. So there is a Wisconsin company called Arch Electric, and Arch is getting ready to produce a couple of big projects in the Northern Illinois area. And so they posted these job vacancies on solarenergy.jobs. And so you can go right on that job board and apply to be hired to do basic entry-level work by a solar contractor right in your backyard. And that's why I think solarenergy.jobs has been such a success, even though it's so new. We're seeing more and more people who are interested in training come to this job board and see real jobs that are available. And this job, by the way, is on the job board. So if you're interested, have at it. Next slide, please. So I just want to say, if anybody has any questions about the Solar Core or about solarenergy.jobs or about any of our training, this is my contact information, and I hope you will reach out to me. My job is basically to work with community and technical college students all over the Midwest. So I do this every day, and I'm always happy to to offer information or answer questions the best I can. And thank you for having me.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that presentation, Ellen. And I just want to reiterate for job seekers that are on the call or students that are on the call, if you do have any questions for Ellen or any of our presenters today, don't hesitate to drop those questions into the chat. And of course, once all of our presenters have presented, we will give you an opportunity to get those questions answered. Thank you so much, Ellen.
Daniel, this is Bill. If I may for a moment, before we leave, Ellen, Arch Electric, as you indicated, was a Custer, Wisconsin company, and
Yep.
they work all over the Chicagoland area, correct?
Yes, they do.
So even though there's only one listed there, there are probably other positions available. Is that a fair statement?
That is a very fair statement. And, when they made this job listing, they made that very clear to me that, this is a situation where they're needing, potentially up to 5 installers, entry level, by the way, and they are willing to train, by the way. So they're expecting people with no experience. I think they'd be happy to have people with some experience, but there's no experience required. And, their human resources manager indicated to me that there are up to 5 positions for this one listing. And I believe that they're going to be doing a lot of work in that area going forward.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
Excellent.
Awesome. Ellen, I just put in the chat that I do recommend to other employers that I talk to utilize the MREA job board if they have postings. Just so you know, too. I think it's a great resource.
Thanks, Dana. I appreciate that. And, like I said, we just got this up off the ground right at the end of November. And so, kind of at the tail end of last season. And I've been amazed at how much activity, and it's super easy to use it. I mean, it's free too, which is the nice thing. I didn't even know that some job boards require payment. And, as it stands, ours is, there's no cost for using it.
Awesome.
Daniel, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Dana. And of course, thank you, Bill, for all the additional information that you provided there. We'll go ahead and move to our next presenter, and that will be Elevate. Shalandra, are you available to present?
I'm available. Thank you, Daniel.
Absolutely. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Nice. I'm going to just turn my camera off because I'm getting a little bit of feedback, but I am Shalondra Brooks. I am the Program Manager of Workforce Development for Elevate Energy. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into our presentation today. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our mission, we design and implement programs that reduce costs, protect people and the environment, and ensure benefits of clean and efficient energy use reach those who need them most. So part of that you'll see in my presentation is a lot of information related to our solar training as well as our contractor development programs. Next slide, please. What we do, we prepare individuals for careers and business growth. So we do offer solar training as well as contractor development work. We are also doing work related to career pathways and what that actually looks like for an individual moving forward into accessing advanced opportunities in the solar space. We support diverse contractors and entrepreneurs and small business owners. So for those who have businesses that really align with some of the, or just have an interest in entering into the solar and energy efficiency world, we do offer support for that, whether it's estimating jobs, bids, thinking about your back office and just kind of getting things together to file your taxes. We have the supports and resources to assist those contractors. We also provide access to clean energy economy and communities. So for those who have been traditionally left out. So we do work with some solar trainees who do have a desire to become entrepreneurs and own their own business. And we do have like maybe tiered and stacked programming so that we can kind of help someone no matter where they are. So we're just meeting individuals again where they are and to ensure that they have access to the supports and resources needed to be successful. Next slide. So an overview of our services is community-based workforce and small business development that also aligns back to our solar training as well as our contractor development work. Equity focus. We want to make sure that we're actually providing services and resources to those who need it most, including working with partners, community-based organizations in those high targeted communities, more so the west and south sides of Chicago, to ensure that they're actually, their students, if they're looking to just kind of implement programming or offer training, that we're actually helping them to design those things. Community engagement and asset development, again, goes back to our solar training, just ensuring that those who need it most have access, but we're also setting a clear pathway for those individuals as they start to progress within their career. We provide thought leadership and advisory to multiple organizations in Oregon, Michigan, Kansas City, Wisconsin, and also the state of Illinois. And then the workforce program delivery. So for that particular model, we are actually working with community-based organizations and helping them think through what the case management piece and the actual suite of services would look like. And that also includes our internal programming, but just making sure that we're actually sharing things back. And it goes a little bit beyond the community-based organizations. It also goes into institutions of higher education as well. And then policy education. We do brown bags. We also just do lots of work and just kind of informing what the solar space could look like. Next slide, please. Our solar jobs training program, right now the students receive 40 hours of classroom training, 20 hours of hands-on, as well as prep to take the NABSEP certification, the NABSEP exam, to receive their NABSEP certifications. And we also provide those critical wraparound supports, the tutoring, transportation, job placement assistance, and then helping individuals to understand just what that looks like when it comes to Illinois Solar for All. Right now, the program is like a hybrid. So we're doing asynchronous and synchronous, where students are just kind of jumping in and then jumping back to kind of do some work on their own. We're doing in-person for hands-on, and that's in small groups. Next slide. Our Contractor Accelerator program really supports those minority-owned businesses in preparing for growth in energy efficient and solar within the Chicago region. So it kind of goes back to, I want to go and I want to get into energy efficiency world and solar. Want to know, where do I start? What does my back office look like? Who do I need to kind of support me in some of this work? And it also brings together a lot of entrepreneurs. So sometimes there are also jobs as an individual progresses through the process. They typically do team up and then work together to get jobs done. And so that includes bidding together, estimating the job, and just kind of seeing it through and what that would actually look like. And then we also help with just qualifying job training programs for Illinois Solar for All. Next slide, please. Just recently, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, CEJA, passed, and we did a policy brown bag related to some of this work. So here, this slide just pretty much outlines, not probably going to read it word for word, but it just really outlines on like building, like how it builds an equitable, clean energy future for all, holds utilities accountable, ensures affordable energy bills, and expands consumer protections, coal to solar transitioning fossils, communities and workers, and creates and protects good paying carbon-free jobs. So if you've yet to do it, I always say, like, please look it up, support SB 2408, and just kind of read through what that actually looks like. Next slide, please. Some other things that we do within Elevate, and we're looking to kind of do some of this work externally as well, as just some things around our job club. And our job club is really designed to provide a space for our solar trainees related to employment opportunities, just barriers and challenges that they're experiencing on the job, or just having access to the jobs, and how to kind of navigate some of that, sharing success stories, and really just kind of getting down to ensuring that students are actually meeting retention, in whether it's like the training portions or employment, just really looking at like getting down to what happens, or what do we know, and how do we help someone actually navigate just within their training program, employment beyond that 30, 60, 90, 120 day and year of work. We typically just have it facilitated by an internal staff member here at Elevate, and we are looking to continue to build this work out. And so there will be some updates in the future. Next slide, please. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some employment opportunities that are available within Elevate. So if you are interested in any of these opportunities, please feel free to visit our website so that you can kind of get more a sense of what the requirements are for each of these. There are 9 positions now available that we are hiring for. And again, we do hire individuals out of our solar training program. We just recently hired someone who is a senior associate for our community outreach program, who has taken their skills and what they've actually learned in the solar program to really just be intentional about meeting with communities with those who need it most, and to really just share like what is solar. So again, please feel free to visit our website to learn a little bit more about what these positions require. And again, right now there are 9 positions available. Next slide, please. Janine Adi is the Associate Director of Workforce Development. Again, I am Shalandra Brooks. I am the Program Manager for Workforce Development. And I'm going to drop my contact information in the chat so that if you have any additional questions, you can follow up with me offline. But for right now, thank you again, and hope that, you're looking for some opportunities, and, you've come and you can tell us a little bit more about what that looks like for you. Thank you, and I'll hand it back to Daniel.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that presentation, Shalandra. And I just want to reiterate, if you do have questions, don't hesitate to drop those into the chat or reach out to any of our presenters today directly. I think most of them are more than happy or willing to provide contact information. So if you do have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out and follow up with them. Bill, Dana, any other comments that you would like to go ahead and add before we move to our next presenter?
The only one I would like to add for Elevate is that Elevate is very connected in the employment world. They're very good at developing career pathways. They are very good at outreach with community. So if anybody has a question on how do you get to training, what the expectations are for a career pathway. They are a very good resource. So don't let that one slip away from you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that the Job Club is a really a good resource and tool for that area and for your school if it's not available, to help support each other too, and as you guys are kind of going through this job search together. So I think that's really awesome, and I think it's awesome that you offer that, Elevate.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Dana. And thank you, Bill. And of course, thank you, Shalandra. And again, if you do have questions, do not hesitate to throw them into the chat. We'll get them answered during Q&A. Our next presenter will be the New Growth Group. Casey and/or Patrick, are you available to present?
Sure am. This is Patrick.
Excellent.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Patrick Britton, and I work for the New Growth Group. We are a consulting firm located in Cleveland, Ohio. We work on projects across the country, and we work mostly with, you can see some of our clients are community colleges and foundations, nonprofits. We really work in the workforce development space, trying to build different aspects of our ability to help folks get and keep jobs. And obviously we're here working with IGEN to promote the solar workforce in Illinois. So you can go to the next slide. All right, so what you can see here, what we're seeing is that solar continues to grow and has done over the last couple of years. We certainly expect it to continue to grow as a segment of industry and as jobs increase. What you're seeing on this slide is the solar jobs by state since 2015. The darker blue is the more jobs, the lighter and paler is fewer. And what I want you to see here, and frankly, what I want you to see on all of the slides that I'm going to share, is a lot less than, I don't want you to think specifically about what the specific information is, but rather the trends. And what you're going to see on this slide is that Illinois is in the middle. It's a middle shade of blue. And if you were to look at the very specifics, it's the number 13 nationwide, obviously out of 50, for who has installed or the solar jobs since 2015. So that's pretty good. And here's the thing about being in 13th place, because of your recent legislation that you've already heard, the CEGA already, we expect, and certainly I think everyone expects Illinois to jump pretty high up in the pack and become a major leader nationwide in terms of the number of jobs. You're coming in on this in a really good time, especially as that bill takes shape. So if you would go to the next slide, I will actually, I'm going to drop in the chat a link to the slides I gave. I just shared it into a Google Drive so you can download those and see the specifics here if you want a little more information. But now on this slide, what you see is I pulled up 3 different maps. What you can see here is these are from the Solar Energy Industries Association, and it's where the jobs, or sorry, where the companies that focus on solar in Illinois, where they're located. Certainly you can see most of them are clustered sort of in the Chicagoland area, but you can also see there are quite a few in the St. Louis area and then scattered throughout the state. What you're gonna find is that with the CEGA, that a lot more are gonna start to come up. There are gonna be a lot more. We know certainly this recent legislation increases the pace of what we expect renewable energy development in Illinois to be. We see that the state energy production needs to go from about 7% now, which is how much of the state's energy is produced by renewable energy. That needs to go to 40% in a pretty short time frame. And solar is certainly positioned to do that very well. We also see that it restarts a lot of solar incentives. All of this it really puts Illinois in a place where a lot of this map in 5 to 10 years is going to have a lot more companies on it that are focused on solar. And that's sort of the takeaway when you look at these and combine it with that. The other thing we have been hearing a lot about is the Biden administration's infrastructure and Build Back Better bills. If those pass the way that they're currently in markup, or as they move through different elements of the legislative process, basically both have a lot of money for solar. So that would be on top of what you're doing in Illinois. These would include tax credits and installation credits and increased programs for workforce development, similar to what we're talking about here. And there's even a tax credit for the purchase of electric bikes. So what I think the takeaway is on that is, frankly, we're expecting there to be a lot more investment in solar, and coming in this part of the process, sort of at the beginning, you're riding a really great wave around renewable energy. Could you go to the next slide? Okay. So what you can see on this slide is these are the number of solar job postings over the last few years. This is sort of the evidence that shows you that. I don't need you to see exactly where all those dots are. Basically, what I want you to see is the lower left line here, the number of jobs in solar. These are job postings. So these are the number of companies that posted a job for solar in Illinois. It was about 200, and that was in September of 2016. And if you look at September of 2020, in the midst of this pandemic, those job postings were about 800, and that's in the months. It's really strong job growth. That line is going up from the lower left to the upper right, and it's just going to continue to do that. Certainly, that's what we would expect. So if you go to the next slide, you can see it's a little more specific and a little more granular here. Here we're looking specifically at the number of solar photovoltaic installer jobs from 2016 and projected into the future. Most projections take a straight line and move it up. And that's what you can see here from 2020 to 2015, or I'm sorry, 2025. We expect there to be growth, right? There will be more jobs each year. And that's, again, the message here is that we expect 50 new solar PV installer job openings each year. And that doesn't even account for the pending legislation and certainly the one that was just passed. What we do here is that employers have been sharing how hard it is to keep up with the demand they're seeing. Certainly that's true with some installers I've talked to. They say, you know, they used to have to go around to different states to keep their business going. And now within, 100, 200 miles, and they have 3 to 4 times as many projects, 3 to 4 times as many employees. And that's all with old incentives. It's not with the new ones. It's not with the new law that's passed. So certainly we'd expect those to just keep going up and up. You can go to the final slide. All right, and basically what I want you to see here is that solar's future, pardon the pun, is bright. That's the takeaway here. I have 2 kids, a 5 and an 8-year-old, and they tell me I'm not allowed to tell my lame jokes, so you get to do them. You get to hear them from me. So solar's future is bright. This chart doesn't matter exactly what all those individual parts are. What you need to see is in 2007 on the far left of this graph, there was hardly any solar installation in this country. And on the far right, it's gone up exponentially, and it's only going to keep going and growing. You're in solar at a really good time to be in solar, and we expect this growth to continue. Certainly, all the legislation would indicate that to be true. So you can look forward to a bright future. Thank you very much.
Patrick, I have a question before we move on. One, dad jokes are great, by the way.
Thank you.
And during the information that you're presenting, we tend to focus on solar installer type jobs. You're not limiting your statement to just solar installers, since there are a number of other roles and responsibilities in that world.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think what solar installer can be sort of the most physical manifestation in some ways of it. And so if you want to look at the way it gets from sort of that big picture, here's the whole industry, down to, here's a very specific example. And that's a good way to do it. But we expect, and certainly everything that I've seen and I'm hearing, is every part of the solar chain, from banks and credit agencies that might finance them, through people who install them, through the companies, through the guys who deliver them, and the folks who, frankly, every part of the chain is expected to grow. And I think some of the employers can tell you, and certainly we were briefly discussing it earlier, is that there's going to take a little bit of time to figure that out, but that there's, I would say, a general sense of excitement. So, yeah.
One of the important things with Kankakee is the electrical program they work with. And while we are looking at career paths, electrical as it relates to solar would also be part of this, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely seeing that. I'll tell you, even my own personal story. We've ordered solar panels and have been in the process. And I think the folks who are specifically working on electrical have been to my house 3 or 4 times, because I live in an older house, and they want to make sure that everything is up to code from our end, but also then from their end and from city connections and power connections. So yeah, electrical is absolutely a huge part of this.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that presentation, Patrick. And of course, thank you, Bill, for the clarification there. Again, just want to reiterate, if you do have any questions for any of the presenters, do not hesitate to throw those into the chat, and we will get them answered after all of the presenters have gone through their presentations. Thank you again, Patrick. Our next presenter will be StraightUp Solar. Heidi, are you available to present?
I'm available to speak for sure.
Excellent. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Well, thank you for this opportunity to be here. I believe that one of the first solar integrators is speaking today, and it's really a pleasure. For those job seekers on the call, this is we're a business that's located in St. Louis, but we work within a 3-hour radius or 300-mile radius of St. Louis. So we work a lot in Illinois, all over the state, from up near Chicago to down in Carbondale area. We've won top places to work. This is the third party. We can't influence this. Our employees are surveyed. And so I'm very proud to work at StraightUp Solar, and I'm really excited that we got this award. And then next slide, please. We also got the award this year as well. So just a little bit of props to StraightUp Solar. It's not easy to get this. Great. So next slide, please. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself later, but first I'll just introduce myself. I'm Heidi Shane. I'm the Director of Employee Experience at StraightUp Solar. And StraightUp Solar has been around for over 15 years. And I'll do a little bit more about StraightUp Solar, but I'll get to the jobs part of this first. That's why we're all here. So I think that Patrick did a great job he had a very similar slide. Maybe Daniel will take this one out for the next job fair, but the takeaway here is that solar is a great place to be. It's a career that's going places and it's not going anywhere. It's growing, and it's really an exciting field to get into. All right, next slide, please. So typically, these are the positions that we hire for year round. So what I'm trying to get you thinking about is, what is it to be in the solar industry? And some of these things are very specific to solar, like installer, electricians that are solar focused, but some aren't, like sales, project management, office admin. Right now, we are hiring an electrician in the central Illinois area near Bloomington Normal, which is one of our satellite offices that we have in Illinois. And also solar installer is another position that we're always looking to interview for. Next slide, please. So things that we look for in team members. We are very interested in understanding why you want to be part of the solar industry. We have a whole team full of interesting stories of how people ended up where they are. And we are interested in knowing your why. If you have construction, roofing, or relatable labor experience, which means tree trimming is another, like landscaping, tree trimming, roofing, those are all comparable industries as far as like the skills that you need to get in as an entry-level solar installer. We're talking mostly about solar installers right now. And that could be that you were helping your uncle re-roof his garage last summer. It could be as simple as those skills-based experiences that you have. So don't be afraid to bring that into the cover letter that you send or the interview question that you ask. You need to have transportation, the ability to drive. You have to be insurable because we have a lot of vehicles. Our fleet is huge and we have a lot of drivers on our insurance, and they all have to be covered by our insurance. Just a lot of people don't understand that their driving record has a big impact on their employability sometimes if that's required for the job. We do travel a little bit. We have people out of town Monday through Friday. Some of the time, not all of the time. It ebbs and flows, but it's something that if you have a commitment that you always have to be home on Wednesday evening, that would be a hard a hurdle to get over for an install position, not for every position. And of course, the ability to work outside, right? It's beautiful, it's hot, it's cold, and you're up in the heights, at the heights, so you have to be comfortable working outside in the elements. And you have to be in good physical condition. For being an installer, even an electrician, you have to be able to kneel and climb and bend and all of those things. It's a physically demanding job. There's no doubt about it. Okay, that's just a little bit of what we're looking for. So we advertise, I'm definitely going to we have used the MREA jobs board. We should do that more, but we primarily advertise for our jobs on our careers page and on Indeed as well. We have a really nice Indeed page. So I would go look at both of those places. So what does the application process look like? This is just tips for you because I've been doing this for a really long time. I've seen a lot of resumes. So just make sure your resume is updated. You're telling a story about yourself through your resume and your cover letter. Make sure that we can connect the dots, list all those transferable skills. It doesn't have to be, like I said, you didn't have to professionally be a roofer, but if you were helping your uncle re-roof his garage last summer and you really worked on it and understood and did a good job and you feel really proud of it, then put it on your resume and proofread it. A lot of times there's typos and those really matter. Believe it or not, spell check is a beautiful thing. And then follow all the steps. If there's assessments, especially in Indeed, then do them. There's a reason they're there. We really want you to complete all of those tasks. And then interviews, most of them are virtual, but make sure that you test out your technology before you have to be. We do Google, we use Google Meet that's similar to Zoom. Just make sure that you have your camera on, your background is, not distracting either the person who's interviewing you or yourself. Make sure that, if you have pets, you put them somewhere else while you're doing this. And then be willing just to share your why. It's really important to be able to articulate or tell your story. Employers are just looking to understand what's the connection here? Why does this person want to work for us? At least at StraightUp Solar, culture is a really big piece of why we're doing what we do. We really believe in the climate emergency. We value our sort of work family. It's not just a job. We're looking for people that have passion for renewable energy. And so make sure that you can express that passion or at least that excitement about getting a job. Okay. So have questions ready and whatnot. All right, next slide, please. Okay, more things good to know. When people email you, check your email regularly when you're looking for a job. Emails, not a fun thing, but it's necessary. And so keep an eye on your email. It really matters to get back to us or get back to the person who's saying, hey, would you like an interview? You need to get back to them in 24 hours. Like if a week goes by, that's not good. It just sends a different message. It says, I don't really care. I don't really want to work here. Or if there's a really good reason that you couldn't answer that email, then just say so, You may have to do some testing, meaning drug testing, depending on what position you apply for. All prevailing wage jobs, at least the ones that I'm aware of, require drug testing and background checks. There are laws about background checks, and we don't do like credit checks or anything, but just realize that you could run into a background check and you may have to speak to something that, you just have to understand what's ahead of you when you're looking for a job. But just be honest when in the conversations. And then we have fit for duty exams, because for the field positions that we hire for, they're physically demanding. So we work with a physical therapy place, and we send individuals that we want to hire, and they get tested to make sure that they can lift, and that there's no pre-existing conditions that would prohibit them from doing their job without getting hurt, because we don't want people to get hurt. So that's just a formality, and it's really a great opportunity to get on the same page as your physical abilities. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I told you it was happening, and here it is. This is a little bit about StraightUp Solar. I'm very proud to work here at StraightUp Solar. We're a B Corp, which means that we're interested in not only profit, making money, but we're interested in people, our people, the people in the community, and the planet. We're very concerned about the planet. It's a triple bottom line, and it's third-party verified. So we don't get to decide how many points. We actually have to apply for it every 3 years and get recertified. We were founded in 2006. We have a great story, but I won't go into it. Our owner and founder, Dane Glick, is actually an orthopedic surgeon who discovered solar and his passion for solar during his residency in Appalachia. I guess I'll tell you a little bit. And he saw that coal mining was devastating the planet, and he came back to St. Louis, and he couldn't find anybody to do a solar installation on his house. So he basically got a NABSEP certification and did it himself. So our first year in 2006, we only did one project, which was his house. And I think we did another project in 2007. So we've grown a lot. We have probably close to 90 people now with 2,000 installations. I should probably update this slide. And a lot of our employees are NABSEP certified. And MREA is a big partner with that, and also with our group buy programs. I won't go into a lot of this other bullet points, but just to say, look us up on social media, get to know us, get to know our story. And any employer that you're looking to get employment with, do research, get to know them, because you want to know their story too. And hopefully it's a good one that you can really get excited about. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so we have a lot of great benefits. Not anything that's super unusual, but we're really proud of our comprehensive benefit package, including profit sharing, volunteer time off. We even have immunization time off for vaccinated individuals, wellness programs, etc. You can read. Down below, you'll see at the bottom, that's a trash cleanup we did together. We get 8 hours of volunteer time off a year. And then that's our headquarters with some of our staff on the top, with our clear values up on the wall behind them. So we're really a very much like family oriented employer. Next slide, please. Okay, how to apply. Look on Indeed or our careers page, and then send your resume to jobs@straightupsolar.com. Don't be intimidated that we're located in St. Louis. We do a lot of work in Illinois. Just check us out and see if it's a good fit for you. My contact information is there, Heidi@straightupsolar.com. I do think that could be the last slide, but maybe I should memorize my slides better. Go ahead and there we go. It was the last slide. All right, well, thank you for your time, everybody. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Heidi. And thank you for also sharing that you have your positions listed on Indeed as well as the career page for StraightUp Solar. Because the Indeed, I know you can create job alerts as well for if you're looking for positions with StraightUp Solar or any other companies that you're researching too, for certain areas as well.
All right, well, thank you, of course, to Heidi for presenting. Thank you to Dana for the clarification there as well. Again, just want to reiterate, if you do have questions for any of our presenters today, to please type those questions into the chat. And of course, we'll be sure to get those answered during the Q&A portion of the event. Thank you so much, Heidi. Our next presenter will be CED Green Tech. Beth, are you available to present?
Yes, I'm ready. If anybody can't hear me, just drop something in the chat or let me know. My name is Beth Idem, and I'm here with CED Green Tech, specifically the Midwest Division. I do marketing and recruitment for the division. We currently have 7 locations across the division. I'm based out of the Chicago office, so I'm always excited to talk to folks in Illinois. But I'll do recruitment for all of our locations across about six states, and there will be a map later on that shows you where those locations are. So we'll just jump right in. Who we are. I did throw a little video in there. I don't think it's going to work technology-wise today, but feel free to check it out on our website. A little bit of background, we are a solar distributor, so a little bit different from some of my colleagues here today. We do not install any solar material. We actually warehouse and sell those materials to a lot of those contractors and installers. So what I'm offering today is some more office-style positions, warehouse positions, but we do still have that same motivation of doing something really, really good for the planet. You know, we feel the pressure of the climate crisis, and that's why we're passionate about what we do. So the core values that we operate by are service, integrity, and reliability. The landmarks of our operations are our purchasers, our sales team, and our warehouse. So purchasing wise, we're really passionate about maintaining strong vendor relations with our partners and making sure that we are respecting where they're getting their materials from, staying on top of what's going on with the sourcing of those materials. There's been a lot going on with that in the industry really recently, if any of you have heard about that. Installers and contractors wise, we're really passionate about providing the best customer service we possibly can. Our sales team are some of the smartest people that I've ever met. You can tell them what kind of project you're trying to install, and they can design it for you right off the bat in their heads. It's some of the most impressive things I've ever seen. And reliability as well, with whatever crises we might all be going through, climate-wise, supply chain-wise. We want everyone that we work with to know that CED Green Tech is here for you guys. We are going to help you identify a problem and find a solution. It's not just going to be a Band-Aid solution. We're going to find a solution for the long term. And whether that solution is providing you the materials you need for the next few months or years, or making sure that the planet is as best off as possible for the next generation. Those are the long-term solutions that we're looking for. So next slide. I jumped into this a little bit already, but our partners are both the vendors or manufacturers and our customers. Our vendors are industry leaders. We maintain really close relationships with all of them, whether they are international, domestic, or local. We value everyone the same. On the slide, you can see some of our partners. It's okay if you don't know all of these names. When I joined the industry, I had no idea who any of these people were. But one of the things that we pride ourselves on is helping our employees get that industry knowledge and product knowledge so that we can then provide the best customer service as possible to our customers. So our customers are mainly installers, contractors, and businesses. Every once in a while, we'll work with Jane Doe, who just wants to put solar on her roof and needs a little help. Just like we value all of our vendors the same, whether you are a small homeowner trying to put solar on your roof or a huge commercial job who's going to put solar on your giant warehouse, we're going to treat you exactly the same and make sure that you get the product and service that you need. Next slide, please. Our team, you can see a couple photos of us right here. We are a really energetic team. I think that's my favorite part of working for CED Green Tech. Everyone here is genuinely excited to be pursuing just the greater good. It can get a little bit distracting because a lot of what we do is in the office. A lot of what we do is purchasing sales on the phone, on the computer, but we all have that motivation of we know what we're doing is having an effect on the ground in people's lives and for the planet. So kind of similar to StraightUp Solar conversation on a family-oriented environment. I really liked the way that Heidi talked about that. We feel the exact same way. We look out for our employees and we really want to invest in you. So when we're looking for new talent, we obviously want to see that passion for the industry, but we're not going to, turn away a resume just because you don't have the experience. If you have the drive and the curiosity and you can express that to us, we'll bring you on, we'll give you the resources you need, and we will help you grow and become tomorrow's leader. And that's something that we're really proud of doing. We have people who start out in the warehouse who, you know, just by learning and asking questions and really moving on up through that chain, end up becoming managers of multi-million-dollar locations in just a few years. So we're really proud of that kind of mentality that we have for our employees. Next slide, please. Specific positions that we're hiring for. You can see on the map, like I mentioned, we cover a huge breadth of the Midwest. I will also just say nationally, we have 70 locations across the United States. And so if you are interested in something a little bit further abroad, you can look at all of the open available positions on the CED Green Tech careers page. And I can also help point you in the right direction. Just in the Midwest, though, we are currently hiring management trainees, drivers, and warehouse associates. Warehouse associates and drivers are a little bit self-explanatory, but I do want to highlight some of the features of the management trainee program. We, especially for this position, like to hire a little bit, you know, on the younger side, recent graduates. So you guys are great candidates for this. People who want to find a career and invest in it and grow. The training program is designed as a rotation through all of the aspects of what it takes to run a CED Green Tech. So you start in the warehouse, you do a rotation in sales, you do a rotation in purchasing, logistics, operations, back office work. You get a taste of everything that it takes to run one of our offices. And then you, at the end of the 2-year program, are prepared to run your own location. So we describe it as basically an MBA program, but you're getting paid as a full-time employee with full-time benefits and receiving profit share while you do it. By the end of the program, you're as equipped to run a business as someone who went to business school. On the flip side of that, if you're going through the program and you find something that you really like more, say you're really passionate about outside sales and you love traveling and you love meeting with customers, you can take control of that path and decide to pursue that. One thing that we really emphasize is when we hire, we're not putting you in a silo or putting you on a path that you're going to be stuck on for 2 years. Our whole team is really flexible, really adaptable, and wants each other to find that niche where you're going to be the most productive and the most motivated. So once we get you in the door, we really give you the power to take control of your own future with us and tell us where you want to go, and we'll help you get there to the best of our ability. So right now, if you go onto our career page, you will see open positions in Chicago, Indiana, Minneapolis, Columbus, Ohio, and Rochester, New York. It's a little bit weird, but Rochester is in our Midwest division. And then on the national page, you will also see positions all across the country, and I'm more than happy to connect you guys with a position, whether or not it's in the Midwest region. A little bit of logistics. All of our full-time positions come with a full suite of benefits, nothing super out of the ordinary, everything that you would expect. We, you know, paid holidays, paid sick leave, paid vacation. The hallmark of our benefits package is our annual bonus structure. Every March, we divide the profits from each location between every employee, whether you're a salesperson, a manager, a warehouse worker, you are getting a cut of whatever we were able to pull in that year. And that really motivates everyone to do their best, work together, and it creates a really great team mentality. Nobody is sitting at a desk all day typing away at a computer on their own. We're very loud offices, we're very energetic offices, and we all have the same goal in mind, and we do whatever it takes to get there. So here's my contact information if you have any questions. I know that that was really quick. I do encourage you to visit our careers page on cedgreentech.com/careers. Look at some of those videos, get to know our culture. We are really excited to meet and talk to anybody from any background, whether you are really excited about a management trainee position or you just want some advice on this kind of other side of solar that's maybe not from the installer's perspective, but where are those materials coming from and who's getting them out there? We always love to talk about that. So happy to help.
Great. Thank you, Beth. Hey, I have a question. So to get a position with CED Green Tech, you don't necessarily have to have the NABSEP certification. prior to applying, as compared to some of the positions like Heidi had said. But is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so you're shaking your head. I know, I'm sorry. And then also to that, you did mention that you have like positions in like designer and project management and then sales. So is your company do they assist with obtaining NABSEP certification if that's where you are interested in heading or anything like that? I was just wondering.
That's a great question. The Midwest Division currently does not offer assistance in obtaining NABSEP certification. If you do want to pursue more of a design engineer position, we have those connections to get you there. Other divisions have a little bit more of a robust engineering department, so they're a little bit better established in that realm. We do not currently offer assistance with getting that certification other than getting you to the right person to talk to.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. Well, and then that's why we're kind of also connecting with businesses to share our programs that you can go through. And they do prepare students to sit for the NABSEP certification. Working with, the MREA, Elevate, and StraightUp Solar, who are all very familiar with it as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Beth, for the presentation. And of course, thank you to Dana for the additional information for folks that are tuning in as well. Again, just want to reiterate, if you have questions, do not hesitate to throw those into the chat. You have a prime opportunity to speak with the folks that are in the industry directly and really, start a potentially good relationship that could land you, obviously, a promising career. So do not hesitate. Take advantage of this opportunity and reach out to those folks. Our last presenter for today will be Simple Ray Solar. Emma, are you available to present?
Yeah, I sure am.
You can begin.
Great. Yeah, so as Daniel said, I'm Emma Sear. I'm with Simple Ray. We are an engineering, procurement, and construction solar company we're based out of Iowa, but we do a lot of work in Illinois as well. I want to take a second to tell you guys about this project on the screen here. This is Pedigree Ovens. It's a pet treat manufacturing facility in Harvard, Illinois. And I think this project is a really good representation of Simple Ray. It's a project where we were able to come up with a fun, creative solution to kind of go above and beyond for our customers. So you can see there's the dog bone and paw print for the pet treat manufacturing facility. And so I think it speaks to kind of who Simple Ray is and what kind of things we like to do. You can go to the next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we are an EPC, been around for 13 years. We are based out of Fairfield, Iowa, but we do projects all over Illinois, Iowa, and then a little bit into Missouri and Wisconsin as well. So we have about 35 employees. We're kind of a small, tight-knit group, but we are very passionate, very proud of all the work that we do. We've installed over 20 megawatts of solar throughout the Midwest. And we are consistently ranked one of the top solar contractors by Solar Power Magazine. So very excited to be here today and to kind of tell you guys a little bit more about us. You can go to the next slide. So why might you want to work at Simple Ray? Yeah, we've got, competitive pay, opportunities for growth. But one of my favorite parts of the job is really our team-driven environment. As I mentioned, we are kind of a smaller company, but we're passionate. We love to work hard together. But as you can see from these pictures, this was our summer solstice party. We also like to, have fun. So I think, for anyone who's looking to get into the solar industry, Simple Ray is a great place to be. Really, we work hard to provide, exceptional service to both our customers, and also be a great place to work. So you can go to the next slide, please. So these are some of the positions that we have available right now. You can also go onto our website, simpleray.com/careers, to see, any other positions listed. So right now we have PV installer positions available. And though we are based out of Iowa, we have a lot, I would say almost half of our projects are in Illinois. So this PV installer would be an Illinois position. So that might be a little closer to home for some of you guys. I think the position itself is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into too big of detail here, but just know that we've got that open. You can go to the next slide, please. We also are hiring for a field service tech position right now. So that will help our service manager to, identify and kind of solve any service issues that come about. So that position would be monitoring projects throughout the Midwest, but it can be based in Illinois. And next slide, please. And finally, we've got a renewable energy consultant. So this is a position on our sales team. We are hiring for the Chicagoland area. And because we have an engineering team, our sales consultants, don't have to have the ability to design or anything, just to be able to understand solar and the benefits of solar and to communicate that and advocate for our customers to get them the solutions that they need. So yeah, as I mentioned, this one is also based out of Illinois. And yeah, our final slide here. The full list of positions, sometimes positions change or we might have more open up. Those can be found at simpleray.com/careers. And then there's some contact information. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to help. Thank you.
Emma, thank you. I do have a question, and this really is for all the employers out there. While we talk about positions that are within the state of Illinois, does that mean I, as an applicant, have to relocate to your corporate office or home office city?
So for us, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that. Some of our positions are remote, and other positions, I guess, if it were required that you were in our head, like if it were required that you relocate to our headquarters location, that would be specified in our job description. So, a lot of these other installers, they'll be traveling throughout job sites, so they don't necessarily need to be right next to our office.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. And yeah, to that same point, I just wanted to mention that the regional relevance is why we wanted to invite you guys to this event. We had, contacts at Kankakee and in Chicago that were, had mentioned your group. And I just wanted to also mention that Illinois is kind of in a unique position in the Midwest, kind of more surrounded by 6 states. There's kind of 6 border states really, that we can kind of turn to and everything. I mean, this event is, part of the Get Hired Illinois initiative. And we're talking or trying to target, community college participants from these schools, even though it's open to the public. So, I just figured that I would mention that, is that Illinois is just a uniquely positioned state in the location. But no, I thought that your group would be more regionally relevant, Emma, to the Kankakee and Chicagoland area folks that are probably here today. And there's maybe people from the Springfield region too. So thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you, of course, to Emma for your presentation and sharing all that wonderful information with the folks that are on the call or who will be tuning in at a later date. Of course, Dana, as I've been stating, thank you for the further clarification there for the folks that are tuning in. And again, as I've been reiterating after every presenter, if you do have questions for our presenters, please feel free to drop those into the chat. As I've stated before, you have a prime opportunity right now with all of these folks in the industry on the call to get any questions that you might have answered, anything that might be uncertain to you. I would highly encourage you to go ahead and, again, drop any questions you have into the chat, get those answered now. If you're not, for whatever reason, comfortable doing so, maybe in this more public style format, we understand. You can either send a direct message to the folks that are on the call through the chat, or of course you can reach out to them at the contact information that they have provided. We have not received any direct questions, I would say, in the chat from folks that are tuning in. So Dana, Bill, I'm not sure if there's anything else that you'd like to add. If not, I would go ahead and say that I think we could kind of begin the wrap-up portion of the event. Of course, what I'd like to do before we go ahead and do so is give Dana and Bill a few opportunities to make any sort of remarks that they might have.
I will jump in at the end here. First, I do want to thank everybody that participated. And those of us that are looking for positions with companies such as these, they are all very good companies. And as you've heard, they have opportunity throughout the state of Illinois, North, Central. And the thing about it is, while you're looking for positions, NABSEP has been mentioned more than one time. It is a third-party certifying credential. Not everybody requires that. And, it was very clear with Beth, with what they do as far as materials and warehousing and, just all those things that you heard. Don't be concerned if you don't have a NABSEP cert. Go back to their websites, look at the roles they have available to you, and apply for them. Starting with MREA, it's, Arch Electric. They have multiple positions available. While they are not an Illinois-based company, they are working in Illinois. Look at StraightUp. They are a Missouri-based company. They're working throughout the state of Illinois. Look at what Beth was presenting as far as all the regions that are available to you. When you look at Emma and what is happening there, it is the same thing. Don't expect that a job in the solar industry, you're going to be working 10 miles from your house every day, because that's not a reality. I mean, that is part of the job that you are looking at and you're wanting to apply for. So take those things. Remember, do your soft skills, your resume, make sure it's clean, no typos, none of that stuff. And take the opportunity to go back to the websites that they are presenting to you. We had what, 5, 6, there's probably at least 20 positions within or more within, this group of people that we can apply for and become successful in. So thank you for taking your time to listen. Presenters, thank you. It's a lot of great opportunity, and it's time just to do it. Go, baby, go. Thank you. Daniel or Dana?
Hi, I would just like to add that I want to thank everyone for presenting. This is our second virtual job fair series event for our five community colleges participating in the Expanding the Solar Workforce project. And so I think that today was kind of the most interesting for me, comparing to our first event last week. We heard from a couple of different employers. CED Green Tech was a new employer that kind of brought in a little bit of a different side to consider for, a potential career pathway into the solar industry. So I think it was really great to hear everybody today. Thank you again for everybody to be on. And I think that this was just a really neat opportunity to meet with employers and kind of get that feel for what your the hiring process is going to be like, and those different avenues that you can take to get in with these companies. And definitely do your research. It's really important. And that's all I have to add.
Excellent. Well, of course, thank you, Bill and Dana, for your comments. Much appreciated. Just a few things. I don't have much to add, but I do want to note the session has been recorded today, as I stated at the beginning. I will be uploading it to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel under the Virtual Job Fairs playlist. If not today, within the next day or so. So if there's anything that you want to go back and review from the presentation today, anything that the presenters covered that you just want further clarification on, or maybe something that you want to, again, brush up on before you fill out those applications, again, look at that location within the next 24 hours or so, and you'll be able to see the video recording of this session. And again, you can brush up on anything that was covered here today. Of course, I want to thank all of the employers and partner organizations that joined us today, carved time out of your busy schedules to present. To the students and job seekers that are on the call, of course, thank you as well. We hope this leads you to hopefully your next career. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And we will have our next event, I do believe on the 23rd. Is that correct, Dana, with the City Colleges of Chicago?
Yes, that's correct. The next event is Thursday, September 23rd from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. Directed at the City Colleges of Chicago, Chicagoland area region.
Excellent. Thank you, Dana, and thank you, everyone. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.